Ted Bundy was not a monster in the traditional sense. He was not someone you would be afraid to meet on the street. Quite the opposite. He was charismatic, intelligent, well dressed, and appeared to be a polite, ambitious young man. Yet today, he is considered one of the most dangerous serial killers in the history of the United States. He officially confessed to more than 30 murders, but the true number of his victims may be far higher. And the most disturbing part of this case is not just what he did, but how long he was able to get away with it. How could Ted Bundy murder across the United States, manipulate police, courts, and the public, and still appear completely normal? Ted Bundy was born in 1946. His childhood was shaped by a lie that followed him for the most of his life. For years, he believed that his mother was actually his sister, and that his grandparents were his parents. When he eventually learned the truth, the damage had already been done. His sense of identity was fractured, and family relationships were deeply unstable. Even as a child, he appeared unusual. He was not openly aggressive, but he was withdrawn, manipulative, and prone to dark fantasies centered around control. In public, however, he learned how to wear a different mask. He was intelligent, studied psychology, showed interest in politics, and adapted easily to social expectations. And this ability to switch masks later became his greatest weapon. The first known attacks began in the early 1970s. Bundy carefully selected his victims, mostly young women who appeared trusting and unsuspecting. He rarely used brute force at first. Instead, he used trust. He often pretended to be injured, for example, wearing a cast or faking a broken arm, and asked for help. He looked polite, spoke calmly, and gave no immediate reason for suspicion. Once he gained control of the situation, it was already too late. Bundy was methodical. He planned, he learned from his mistakes, and over time, he became increasingly cautious. He moved between different states, changed tactics, and left behind very little evidence. At a time when police lacked modern databases and interstate communication was slow, this gave him a critical advantage. One of the most disturbing aspects of Ted Bundy's case is how many times he could have been stopped, but wasn't. Police had him on their radar multiple times. Witnesses described him. His name appeared on lists of suspects. But Bundy appeared too normal. He was educated, well spoken, and socially integrated. He could look investigators in the eye and speak without signs of fear or guilt. And the system believed him. During his trials, he even chose to represent himself in court. He spoke calmly, logically, and exploited legal loopholes. At one point, he managed to escape from custody, not once, but twice. and these escapes had deadly consequences. Ted Bundy was not an impulsive killer, he was calculated. Psychologists agree that he exhibited traits of severe personality disorders, particularly narcissism and antisocial personality disorder. He lacked empathy. He viewed people as tools. At the same time, he had a powerful need for admiration. He wanted to be seen. He wanted to be perceived as intelligent and exceptional. This is why, near the end of his life, he began to talk. Not because he felt remorse, but because he wanted to have the final word. Ted Bundy was executed in 1989. His death brought an end to one of the darkest chapters in American criminal history. But his story left deep scars. It changed how law enforcement profiles serial killers. It changed the understanding that evil does not always look terrifying. And it showed how dangerous blind trust in normal appearances can be. Ted Bundy was not exceptional because he was different. He was exceptional because he was terrifyingly ordinary. And that is what made his case one of the greatest systemic failures of the modern era.